Hello, everyone, and welcome to In Time. We are here with breaking news. We actually have two. We were going to go with one, and we ended up getting a twofer today. Kamala Harris has dropped out of the Democratic primaries for the candidacy for the Democratic nomination, and the Democrats have released their impeachment report on Donald Trump. So let us start with I picked up the bat phone and got, of course, ProLib here. Thank you, ProLib, for joining us on such short notice. We really appreciate it.
Go Seahawks. Thank you.
So Kamala Harris has dropped out. This is, to me, a surprise. I did not see this coming. Did you see this coming? And what does it mean?
Oh yeah.
You did.
Sure.
Why didn't you tell me?
Kamala hasn't been polling well in the past about 3 months.
Mm-hmm.
There's been a lot of Oppo research going on and reports thus coming out about her campaign and how things weren't run well. There was a report just the other day about her sister not managing some things correctly. A lot of it was hearsay and reports say, sources tell us type of stuff. But it's Oppo research, which you get in campaigns. Candidates research each other and find out dirt.
That's short for opposition research.
Right. Yes. Sorry. And I just realized I linked In Time instead of In Time Show on Twitter, so I'm going to fix that real quick. But yeah, I'm not overly surprised about it. It's the fact is, in the United States, it is difficult for women of color and people of color generally to get elected to positions, especially general elections. There are threads of white privilege and white patriarchy that run throughout our country. I think a lot of people who support things that are in favor of the white patriarchy don't realize they are. They say, well, I'm just being devil's advocate. Well, when the devil you're advocating for are Nazis, maybe you step back. So it doesn't surprise me that she dropped out, that she was having troubles. It does sadden me. She'll still be a voice in the party. I think she could be an amazing attorney general. She had, of course, a long record as attorney general in California, and as I think a U.S. attorney before that. So she's got the chops for it. She's popular nationally, and I think she would love to bring a lot of these criminals involved in the Trump administration to task.
Is anyone going to be courting her support? Is she likely to throw it behind any particular candidate? And if she doesn't, what's going to happen to her supporters?
She will eventually, because everyone does eventually. I think that she will probably wait until a nominee is nominated by the primaries in order to endorse. Because, a lot of her supporters are supporting her because she's an outsider who is a strong, assertive female person of color voice. And of all the candidates that are going to the debates right now, none of them are strong women who are also people of color. I think everybody who's currently qualified is a white person. So I think if she endorsed right now, she would just piss off a lot of her supporters. So it makes a lot more sense to wait. She may endorse after Iowa. Like if Warren wins Iowa, I could see her endorsing, or Sanders for that matter. I think that her supporters are going to gravitate towards Sanders and Warren more than the other candidates. I mean, can you see people who liked Kamala Harris suddenly saying, oh, now I like Joe Biden or Pete Buttigieg? No. But I think it makes more sense. If I was advising her, I'd say wait and let this kind of percolate out and see how things shake out in the early primaries before Super Tuesday.
So what was her because I do think that was she Medicare for all? Was she what was her healthcare stance?
So she wanted to do a 10-year transition. It was one of the reasons why she wasn't number one on my list. We did a whole show on that. She wanted to do a 10-year transition. The Medicare for All plan that she advocated for was very weak. It was basically what we have now today, plus a public option in some instances.
Okay.
And I didn't like it very much. And I didn't think that, in order to make a change like this, I think we need something that's a dramatic change. I think if you just change in small increments, then that's not really change. And
So,
so I didn't like her healthcare plan at all.
so it doesn't sound like it was original enough or close enough to any of the other candidates, because I would think that would be a good indicator of who's going to go where. But it doesn't sound like she had enough distinction that people are going to say, oh, we're going to go for Sanders or we're going to go for
Right.
is what that sounds like. And by the way, what's your channel again?
Progressive liberal.
That's just on YouTube, and
YouTube.com/progressive liberal.
Okay.
Yep.
And yeah, and obviously, it sounds to me like you may go on one side of the political spectrum, just at least a little
A
bit.
little bit.
Um,
Honestly, so her healthcare plan, if just off the top of my head, thinking about everybody's healthcare plans, I would say is actually closest to Biden's, who's also got a very, very weak healthcare plan. Most people now are, most of the candidates who are viable, are adopting something that's a lot closer to Sanders' Medicare for All thing.
mhm.
Sorry. It's one of the problems that I have with Warren's Medicare for All plan is she also has a 10-year transition. I think that's too long. We won't get into healthcare deep, but if you're just talking about like policy, Kamala we've talked about this on the show so many times. Kamala is a Black conservative.
Mhm.
Black conservatives are, many of them are in the Democratic Party. It's a different type of conservatism than, Trumpism, but it's Black conservatism. It's cliquey. Anyway, go watch our show. We talk about it all the time. But I would think that if you're just talking about pure policy, she's going to be closer to somebody like a Biden, who is center right. But I just don't think that I think that a lot of her supporters saw themselves in her. A lot of them are going to be people of color and women who see themselves in Kamala Harris. They're not going to see themselves in Joe Biden. Yeah.
So is there any candidate right now that's saying this is great for us? Either maybe one of the smaller candidates because they're going to get more support and maybe more of a
Warren.
voice. I'm sorry, Warren?
Warren. Yeah.
Okay.
Warren or Sanders. Yeah.
Now, Warren, perhaps, is this because now the one of the other strong females now out, so
Right.
this consolidates the female vote for. So she's ostensibly made somewhat stronger by this.
Yeah, and I don't think, especially right now, I don't think it's significant. A lot of the initial reaction that I'm seeing are people just saying, of course, we had a strong Black female candidate, and they can't get elected as president of the United States. Of course. So I don't think that right away people are going to gravitate towards Warren, but I do think, over the next month or so, they'll say, okay, Kamala was 1A, but maybe Warren can be my 1B.
So it's interesting. So you had mentioned opposition research. So there was significant opposition research and it happens into every candidate. Hillary Clinton knows a lot about opposition research.
Yeah.
The research going into her was focusing a lot on things that she had done as attorney general and ostensibly mistakes she had done, or there were certainly accusations that she knew somebody was innocent. So there was a lot of accusations there.
Sure.
There's a strong desire to say it was one thing, and it's almost never one thing. But that's why I'm going to sit there and say let's figure out what the one thing is.
Okay.
So was what if there was a biggest? Obviously, she was essentially out of money. And that really does usually kill campaigns. There are ways to do it, but the money is huge. But then you can ask, why was she out of money? So was it the opposition research? Was she getting killed by these rumors? Was she getting killed by poor management, which there's rumors that there was just staggeringly poor management, or was she just never a strong candidate?
As a Warren supporter, I remember being scared in July, I think it was, that Harris was going to take all of Warren's momentum. I forget when that debate was, that summer debate, that she just came off so strong.
Yeah, I remember.
She was fantastic on that stage. So I don't think that it has anything to do with her. I don't think that Kamala Harris is unlikable or anything like that. You get her up nationally, people love her. They go nuts over her. So I don't think it has anything to do with the candidate. Therefore, it must have to do with the campaign. Um, I'm not, I looked over at one point for any names that I recognized on her team, and I didn't. But I did notice that a lot of her team came out of California, where she's from. So, it makes sense that I wouldn't recognize any of them. So I don't know
Eh,
that, I can't say, yeah, this person was on her team and that person, I know from whatever that they're a dick. I can't say that. What I can say is that the campaign itself shows signs of poor management. The fact that so much Oppo research was out shows that there was a lack of communication between the campaign and the press because um, a lot of times when a bad story comes out about you, a reporter will call you and say, "Hey, we're doing this story right now about how you punched your dog or whatever it is. Would you like to comment?" And I didn't see when something bad would come out, I didn't see, a strong surrogate on television defending her. I didn't see a great response coming out of her team. I didn't see any, well, I shouldn't say any. I didn't see many reporters who obviously were writing a defense story because the campaign called them and said, "Hey, can you write a story that defends us in position of this?" And that's all just party, communication parties. Listen to me, communication management on a campaign team. So, uh, that those to me are signs of a campaign not being run well.
mhm.
But that's some of that goes on the candidate, but the candidate is running for office. The candidate has people who manage their team. And if the right people weren't in place, you can get buried by Oppo research. It's happened many, many times before. It will happen many, many times in the future.
The chat is sort of poking a little fun at you,
Sure.
saying apparently Yang and Tulsi are now white.
Okay. Yeah. From what I saw this morning, neither of them had qualified for the debate in December. If they have, then I got that wrong. But
Yeah, I
what I
don't
saw
know.
this morning is neither of them had qualified for the debate yet.
Yeah, yeah. You had
Yeah.
said so. You had said no strong candidates that weren't white, and I
Okay.
think I think
Yeah.
that's what you said, and I think I understand. I think that's a defensible position because if you're finding a strong candidate, a candidate who's qualified for the debates, now the cutoff hasn't happened yet, so they can still
Right.
qualify. But
Oh,
so
sure, they could still qualify. I'm just saying, as of this morning, when I
yeah,
looked, everybody who had currently qualified was a white person. But
Right.
maybe Yang and Tulsi were on the list, and I
I,
just didn't
I
see
I
them. That's
think I
completely
think the
fine.
chat's just having fun because of the way it sounded. You know what I mean?
Oh, right. I mean,
Yeah, yeah.
Tulsi's not even really a Democrat anyway. So, I mean, she's on Tucker Carlson's White Nationalism Power Hour more than she is anywhere else.
so
Well,
you're a fan of Tucker Carlson.
I'll
Um,
say this. I actually want to. First of all, I don't necessarily see going on Fox News as an indication against somebody being a Democrat or whatever. In fact,
sure,
one of the things that you'll see, for instance, Bill Maher do all the time is say, "Go on Fox News. That's
sure.
where we gotta go." So
Yeah, no, I
yeah.
agree with that. It's just the terrible bullshit she spews when she's on there about how Democrats are awful and they're not patriots and they don't support veterans and all the other bullshit that she said about Democrats. It's completely unfucking true. That's what pisses me off. But sure, no, going on Fox News, yeah, that's not a bad thing. Sorry, I got to refill my vape. I'm out of juice here.
All right. While you're doing that, the second piece of breaking news that we have is, and we've discussed this before, so to remind people what the official impeachment process is, which hasn't really started until now, I think. The official process is that the judicial committee in the House has to investigate. If once they investigate, they vote. If they vote to impeach, that vote goes from the Judicial Committee to the entire House. The entire House then votes. If that succeeds, then you have the impeachment itself. It goes off to the Senate. So
Right.
Nancy Pelosi actually created her own committee to look into this, and they have found that they want to do the impeachment, but they can vote all they want to. It's not the Judiciary Committee. They're the ones who have to make the vote. It has now been sent to the Judiciary Committee, which really is the start of the process. They now have it. They have to reach a conclusion. They will vote to impeach. There is no, it's a Democrat majority. You only need a simple majority to get that vote. They're gonna vote. But what it seems like to me is they are trying to, in some cases, poisoning the well. Really, what they're trying to do is
Hmm.
get as much information out there in the public, so the public supports it. So when it gets to the Senate, there are enough people who already support it that senators are going to feel the pressure to um, uh, actually convict on the impeachment. That's what it looks like to me. But at any rate, it looks like it's been passed to the Judiciary Committee, and the Dems put out a report. What does the report say? Is there anything?
Well,
What's going on?
Well, what was released today is the draft of the impeachment, the articles of impeachment, I believe, is what they're
Oh,
calling it. There's a
okay.
they called it a name. It's like the Trump Ukraine impeachment articles or something like that, and it
Okay.
came out 10 minutes before we went live. So I have not read it yet. I have Twitter up right now. That's what I'm glancing over at right now, and I have a list on Twitter that's just journalists that I trust.
Okay.
And I have seen all of them saying, this is damning. Everyone should read it. It is a great outline of the exact crimes that the president committed. So I have not read it, but people that I trust say that it's bad and
Okay.
that it's comprehensive and that everyone should read it. So therefore, I'm going to say, hey, you should read it, and it's comprehensive, and it outlines all of the crimes that the president committed.
All right. So let me think for 1 second.
Hold on. This just came through. I'll just read this to you. At President Trump's direction, 12 current or former administration officials refused to testify as part of the House's impeachment inquiry, 10 of whom did so in defiance of duly authorized subpoenas, and that it names them. These witnesses were warned that their refusal to testify, quote, shall constitute evidence that may be used against you in a contempt proceeding and, quote, may used as an adverse inference against you and the president. That right there is evidence of obstruction of justice, witness tampering. There's a laundry list. So, and that's one little tiny part of it, and I just read it to you. So there you go.
All right. So let's see. I'm sorry. I'm juggling multiple things here. So
You're
let's. Now, I had heard that there was some pretty damning testimony. About 2 days ago, a diplomat came out and said some. What was that about?
Which one? The issue is that there's been a lot of them, and let's remember, Trump admitted on TV that he was trying to extort the Ukrainian government into launching an investigation into the Bidens. Like, he said, yeah, we did it. And then Mick Mulvaney was like, yeah, we do that all the time. Get over it. That was his response. Mick Mulvaney said, yeah, we did it. Get over it. You should, I guess people could try that, like with the police, like, murder somebody and been like, yeah, I murder people all the time. Get over it. Maybe that'll work. I don't know.
I'm guessing
think it will.
not, but
I'm gonna guess no. But yeah, maybe
you
the
never
cops are
know.
like, oh,
give it a try, man.
If you're a professional, sir, we're sorry we interrupted. Yeah, and I've got something about a co-conspirator. Page 9. The telephone call was neither the start or the end. Guessing is the call with Ukraine. Rather, it was a dramatic crescendo within a months-long campaign driven by Trump in which senior U.S. officials, including Pence, Pompeo, and Perry, and others, were either knowledgeable or active participants. So apparently these impeachment articles aren't just centering on the president. They're also including everybody from the administration who was involved in assisting him in attempting to extort the Ukrainian government.
And you can impeach any elected official, and you can impeach any judge. So you can impeach. So the impeachment, people think of an impeachment as just against the president. It can go against anybody in. Yeah. So
it's also how you would have remove a sitting Supreme Court justice is through impeachment. Impeachment is just a process. It's not centered on the president at all. No.
All right. So I think we're going to start to wrap this up because we're just sort of, I don't want to necessarily get into a deep dive on it. I wanted to make sure that people are, we're just doing our breaking news. But it sounds like, so you had said that you thought he might be out really by January 1st. This is obviously
Good.
moving quickly. It may not be moving quite that quickly, but it's pretty close.
Well,
Are
I
you?
also said I thought he was going to resign.
Oh, yes, 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 yes.
Yes. I did not think that he was going to be removed due to impeachment. Yeah, I did think that. I don't know. He has an out now too with the health thing, right? Like somebody pointed out the other day, he hasn't golfed since that mysterious trip to Walter Reed.
I didn't. What was this?
Remember when he had that unannounced trip to Walter Reed a few weeks ago that they said definitely was not a heart attack?
Oh yeah. Well, I sort of vaguely. I didn't. I
Right.
didn't. Yeah. So
Um,
so he went to Walter Reed, which is a medical facility.
Sure.
It's a military medical facility, if I
It is.
recall.
Yes.
So he showed up there. If he went there, but it definitely wasn't a heart attack. That's
Definitely
good. I'm
wasn't a heart attack,
glad to hear
but
that. Okay.
the White House physician keeps traveling with him wherever he goes, and he hasn't played golf once since that happened.
Well, golf is
Interesting.
very taxing on the heart.
Interesting. That's the ASMR version. Interesting. But yeah, so he's got a perfect out for resigning now because he could say, "Yeah, I'm resigning." To
Do
health
you think there's
issues or
really a
something.
health issue, or do you think this is a ploy?
I don't know. No, we talk about that all the time. I don't know. I don't know. When I first saw it, I thought it was a ploy. I thought it was okay. This is him resigning, and he's just gonna be like, "Yeah, I'm having health issues because the Democrats won't leave me alone or something, and go watch Trump TV, and I resign." Um, Now I maybe it was a real health thing. Like he's still got the White House physician traveling with him when he goes places, so that makes me think that maybe it was a real health thing. Other people are saying there's something going on with his left arm. I think that's just gobbledygook. I don't agree with that.
Well, if he it can often well either if he's had any kind of here's what I think we should do. I think we should get into unreasonable wild speculation. So let's do that.
Great.
So
I'm going with aliens. Going with
if he had
aliens.
some kind of clot, those can present in the arm. If he's had even a heart attack, that can cause muscle atrophy and cause pain in an
Sure.
arm that lingers. In
Yep.
fact, that's often how it presents, and it can continue. So if he's got something with an arm and the doctor's following him around, I would actually consider that rather serious.
Well, I just did see some other breaking news come across Twitter. The
Of
Panthers
course.
have fired Ron Rivera, so that's actually big news to me. You guys probably don't give a shit though.
Oh, I care very much about the
Um,
Panthers.
the Panthers, yes. So anyway,
Yeah, terrible.
yeah. So now I'm being serious. The actual news that I'm seeing now is that it appears that the SDNY has multiple targets in its ongoing investigation, including Rudy Giuliani,
Yes.
and that the Intelligence Committee got access to phone logs of Rudy Giuliani, and he made a lot of phone calls to the OMB.
OMB.
Yes.
I don't. OMB. What is that?
Give me 1 second. Hold
All
on.
right.
I got to
will
make
say
sure
this:
it's actually the OMB and that I'm not.
Giuliani makes a lot of calls to reporters. Really,
He does.
He butt dials. He's butt dialed every reporter, and then he butt dials them while he's in the middle of secret conversations about.
Okay,
how-
so I've got
oh,
the call records. That's the Office of Management and Budget.
okay. Oh yes, yes, yes.
So on April 24th, he called them 3 times. That's weird. Yeah, he called the office of Management and Budget 3 times on April 24th of this year. One time
Why?
they talked for 13 minutes, then he called them back. Later they talked for 31 seconds and then called them back. Oh no, I'm sorry, I'm reading it backwards. They talked for 42 seconds, he called them back. They talked for 31 seconds, then he called them back for 13 minutes and 44 seconds.
It does sound like a butt dial, actually, the first couple of ones, but
Right. Yeah. It's not a 13-minute, almost 14-minute butt dial.
no, that one isn't.
Hmm.
So what would he be doing calling them? Oh, because they're the ones who control the funds to the
Right.
yeah.
That would have something to do with withholding the aid to
He
Ukraine.
he's got zero business calling them. Actually, he's got zero business
Yeah,
calling them.
he's the president's personal
Personal
attorney.
attorney. He should not be calling them, and if he does call them, they should say go screw. They can't tell him anything.
So he called them at 7:17 in the morning, 7:49 in the morning, and then at 1 o'clock in the afternoon was the long phone call.
Hmm.
So he
Yeah,
needed to
that's a
talk
problem.
to them.
Yeah,
'Cause
and
you
they
don't
didn't.
call somebody back a half an hour later unless you have an issue.
That was me calling you 45 minutes ago. I was like,
I know.
eat that. Where's the bat
I was
phone?
eating. I was eating my lunch. I was eating lunch, and sorry.
Okay, so yeah, no, because he doesn't work for the government. He works for the president, but as a individual, he doesn't work for the office of the presidency. He works for Donald Trump. So he's got no business calling it. And people who don't understand that distinction, it's a serious problem because what they end up doing is they'll give him information because they'll say, "Oh, he works for the president." No, he works for Donald Trump. Those are two different things. It doesn't seem like
Yeah.
they're two different things. They are two different things. Legally, they're two very different things.
On April 10th, Rudy Giuliani and Devin Nunes exchanged, well, technically 5 phone calls, but 2 of them were 0 seconds in duration. So 3 phone calls. They talked 3 times on April 10th. Bizarre. It's weird. Why is he calling all of these politicians? Like, what was he talking to them about?
All right. So the articles of now he can't be impeached. There's nothing to because he doesn't work for the U.S.
No.
government.
No, he
But-
could just be arrested and imprisoned. But-
Yeah, and if he's in the report, that means somebody's seriously considering it. And he can lose his license. That is it sounds like it's going to be up for grabs.
Yeah.
All right. So what we're looking at is articles of impeachment. At a minimum, there are now articles of impeachment that are being considered by the Judiciary Committee. They are the ones who will set the final articles that will go
Right.
to the House. So it looks like they're getting ready to go. That I wouldn't expect would take longer than a week. So I think within a week. The only reason it's taking as long as it is because again they're trying to poison the well. What they're trying to do is they're trying to get. They know America's watching. They want to get as many people as possible on board with what they're doing because there's enough senators actually to swing this either way. It doesn't seem like there are, but there are. So these they're trying to get all of the ones who are vulnerable to hear from their constituents, hey, look, we want you to either seriously consider this or just to impeach the president. So they're trying to get as many people on board ahead of time so that they can have the best chance of success. But they're ready to go. So my guess is a week they do it, goes to the House votes in a week. So we may have articles. I don't know. What do you think? Within 2 weeks, we have articles of impeachment from the House? Or is that too ambitious?
I could see that. Let me look at the calendar here. So today's the 3rd. You've got this week and next week, and then they're off for Christmas.
Well, I think they're required to stay if they're considering this.
Right. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like they would be off for Christmas. Yes.
Okay.
They're either going to push for the articles by like next Thursday, or they're going to wait until next year. Now, the nice thing about letting Trump cook over the Christmas break is that he also has to worry about signing the budget. So
yes. Oh, okay. Cute. Very
so
cute.
you've got the budget in line with the pending articles of impeachment. That could really that could be some interesting political pressure to put on Trump and the Republican Party. I don't know how they're going to play this. If it were me, I would let him cook. I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
I think
move
they want him out as quickly as possible. But yeah, I think
Quick question. Considering the way the Republican Party has really rallied around, circled the wagons around Trump, do you still think that an impeachment is, or I should say, a removal from office, is plausible?
Oh, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. It's plausible. Until that vote is taken, it's plausible.
and shit happens, and I think people are going to be looking at what happens with Congress. With the because there's a couple of things coming up before the U.S. Supreme Court having to do with him failing to coming up with the warrant issue, coming up with really the executive branch ignoring orders from the judicial branch. I think they're going to be very upset with that, and I think if he gets a rebuke on that, which I think he should, I think that's going to hurt him badly. But
And Adam Schiff, I just saw this a second ago. Adam Schiff, who's the head of the Intelligence Committee, said, what Republicans have to ask themselves right now is, when we have a Democratic president, are we going to say, well, it's fine for them to ignore oversight too? So it's not just about Trump. It's about what message are we sending future presidents who aren't Republicans? So
that's exactly what got me kind of aboard the impeachment train, so to speak, was I was always worried that that this sort of thing could guarantee a Trump reelection. But then, I was in a conversation with some friends, and we were talking about, if you don't hold the office accountable, even if you fail to remove him from office, if you don't hold him accountable, you legitimize, abuses of power for future presidents,
Yep.
Yeah.
And not just presidents, anybody who can be impeached. If impeachment is the only way that somebody can be removed from office, what they're seeing right now is just be corrupt as you want, because no one's going to fucking care.
Right.
All right. Well, once again, thank you very much for joining us on such short notice. You're actually going to be back on again tonight at 9 p.m. Eastern.
I thought it was tomorrow night. It's tomorrow night.
I think we've got you on for tonight, unless I got.
Is it tonight? Okay. Then maybe I'm remembering wrong.
It should be tonight. I can double check our DMs, but I think it's tonight.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
Yep, tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard, to discuss an interesting lawsuit against Comcast that it looks like it's going to the Supreme Court about racism. So look forward to seeing you tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard, you and Mikey. So in time, we'll be back 9 p.m. Eastern Standard. Thank you all for joining us, and we look forward to seeing you later.
Thank you guys for having me on.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
See ya.